Today we are talking about something that is very powerful, and yet sometimes we forget. When we are manifesting a specific person, someone who has already been in our lives and with whom we have history, we forget that sometimes we have to forgive. Forgiving others for having harmed you, or forgiving yourself for having harmed others. This may not be an easy journey, but it is a rewarding one because out of this, you gain freedom. You become free of your pain, of your hurt, of your circumstances, of the old versions of you and them. And that's what we are talking about today. But before I get into it, hello everyone. If you're new here, my name is Al. Welcome to my channel. If you're in need of coaching, go to the description box. The information is there. But right now, let's get into today's topic. When asked how to forgive the unforgivable, a very wise Indian teacher, if I remember his name, I'm going to write down in the comment section. Unfortunately, it's not coming to my mind. But he said something like this: don't forgive. Do whatever is easier for you. Why do you have to struggle? Punish yourself instead. Because anger is the punishment that you give yourself for the mistakes of other people. He was reminding us that choosing to hold on to whatever happened is only hurting you. You are punishing yourself. You are not allowing yourself to move on. Sometimes we want to manifest someone, but we start conditioning our manifestation. We think that we are going to feel better, whole, more complete. We are going to feel relief, or we are going to be able to move on when someone acknowledges their mistakes. That's a very logical way of experiencing reality. But I'm going to tell you why it doesn't work with manifestation. Because you manifest what you are. You holding on to a version of them who is able to hurt you and others, or a version of you who is able to hurt others, is not going to create healing. It's going to manifest even more pain. Holding on to resentment, waiting for someone to come in and rescue you and validate your pain, and give you permission to heal, to let go of the things that are not suiting you, it's not going to help you create that relationship that you want. Not with them and not with others, okay? The truth is that you have to heal you in the end. Whether someone believes in manifestation or not doesn't really matter. Because nobody can break your heart and then put it back together. You are the one who have to heal you. You have to get yourself off the hook. You have to free yourself. You have to move on from that pain, okay? And to move on from pain, you have to feel it and allow it to discharge. And if you have hurt someone, and you are struggling with it, it's understandable, because often when you make a mistake, that's even worse. But you can't wait for them to forgive you so that you can be okay, so that you can work on yourself and you can change and become a better person. All you can do is to acknowledge that you have made a mistake. Acknowledge that you could have done better, and then you work on yourself to become a better version of yourself, a better person, someone who would treat people differently, okay? You cannot wait for someone to give you permission to move on from it, because when you find that place within you to forgive yourself and you take the steps to become a better version of yourself, then you are allowing them to do the same. there isn't that bond anymore, that connection with pain anymore, then you are allowing them to heal. And that dynamic that you have with that person can change. And the other side of the story is also true. When you find it within yourself the strength to forgive them, to move on, with no expectations, just focused on live your life, then you are giving them the opportunity to change, to also recognize their mistakes. And how often have I experienced this? That people come back and say that they are sorry, whether it's friends or co-workers or, family members or in a romantic setting. When you let go of this feeling, I need to have an apology so that I can move on, they come back genuinely and they are really sorry for what they did, and they are going to want to make up for you. But when they come, you are not holding on to anything negative. So you too can move on with that relationship without any signs, any shadows of the past. You can really restart. They will change because you're not holding on to that old version of them who can hurt you, who can treat you in a way that you don't want to be treated. So when you do that, you give them the opportunity to show up in a different way, to level up, the same way that you are leveling up, okay? Is forgiveness the easiest thing in the world? No, not always. But the question is, do you want a new beginning? Or do you want to experience the same thing again? You may be thinking, am I supposed to get them off the hook? And what I can tell you is that the only person that you are letting off the hook, that you are getting off the hook, is you. Because you are giving yourself an opportunity to heal. You are giving yourself the opportunity to move on and have a better life with that person in your life if you want. If we are talking about manifesting someone, so you are choosing to manifest that person. And on the other side, although manifestation is based on the idea that you change yourself and you change how the world reacts to you. Everyone is pushed out, right? But then in this situation, you're like, they have to heal me and they have to make me feel better and they have to put me back together because they broke me. Think about this. How do you think that you can achieve that? In manifestation, with manifestation, you have to figure out what it is that you really want. Because if you want to be with that person, or if you want to have that person in your life, you have to overcome the past yourself. It is the hardest path, but this is what you are choosing. If you want to have them in your life, you have to work on healing yourself, not for them, but for yourself. Forgiveness is about extending mercy to others, independently on whether they deserve it or not. And it's not an easy thing to do. But it becomes easier when you recognize that everyone makes mistakes, that we also make mistakes, that we also hurt people sometimes. Sometimes we overreact. Sometimes we say things that we don't mean, okay? Intentionally or unintentionally. At some point in our lives, we have hurt someone or we will hurt someone. And sometimes people who are hurting hurt people. So it is important to get out of that micro perspective and look at this in a more broader perspective. so that we are not in our heads about our story and what happened to us. And we can recognize that everyone deserves grace, okay? And you deserve grace. So it is important for you to free yourself from those negative feelings that are consuming you. You will still have to offer that feeling some space, okay? Because you want it to discharge. You want it to allow you to move on. But when you do that with the thought, I'm not going to think about what they are thinking, whether they regret it or not, it doesn't matter. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this because I deserve a new start. I deserve to move on. I deserve to enjoy my life. I deserve to have good relationships. Forgiveness is freedom. Forgiveness is love. It takes a strong person to say sorry and an even stronger person to forgive. You are not letting that person off the hook and allowing them not to take accountability for what they did. In fact, what you are doing is you are allowing yourself to heal, and you are not prolonging the pain. It doesn't have to hurt any longer, okay? We have to process whatever we are dealing with, and we have to focus on where we want to go, the end. Do not bring your pain, do not bring your past to the end that you want to experience, okay? You can do that. You can heal. That's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to talk soon. Bye-bye.